I've been doing a lot of AUs, with the last one probably being the most disturbing one I've ever done. But this one has to be one of the most requested, so remember to keep sending and or commenting more for me to do. Now without further ado, it's time to talk about the Super Smash Bros. Infection AU. Now, the Super Smash Bros. Infection is a story about the fighters of the Smash Bros. Universe hunting down a Kirby that's infected with a virus that will lead to the once peaceful world into total darkness, with some coming close to death, missing, or even worse, consumed by it. It starts out on day one of the outbreak, showing us the main character Ness's diary, where it said that one day Ness and Mario started to notice that Kirby was acting a little bit weird, prompting Mario to reach out to him to see if he's alright, which unfortunately led to his death, with Ness saying, "This isn't fair. Why is this happening?" Unfortunately, Mario was eaten by Kirby, but luckily seconds before he was eaten, he threw his friend Cappy towards Ness, but it didn't have an effect. There has been a running gag in the Super Smash Bros. Series whenever there's a new threat, Mario usually is the first one to get taken out or just beaten by them. So of course, I'm not surprised that this happened in the AU as well. Another interesting thing is that Mario met Cappy in Mario Odyssey, giving him the ability to take over certain things, but unfortunately, it does have its limits and it didn't work on Ness. And it should have worked on Ness, as it worked on other characters like Bowser and even Yoshi, and this probably could have saved his life in this situation. But they are in the Super Smash Bros. Universe, which works differently than Mario's, which we'll learn more info about soon. So after Mario was basically eaten right in front of Ness in broad daylight, he actually luckily escaped and runs into Villager, Sheik, and Marth, showing us the status on everyone around him. Starting out with Ness, he's doing pretty good. He luckily isn't infected, but on the other hand, Cappy does seem traumatized. And interestingly enough, if we take a look at Ness's notes, it says that they are basically looking for the Master and Crazy Hand for help. Now, the world of Super Smash Bros. For a long time was ruled over by the Master Hand, who would use the fighters to have them battle against each other, but after the events of the Subspace Emissary, he's no longer been in charge. So it makes sense why Ness would be in search of them, because both hands are pretty powerful. Sheik, unsurprisingly, is doing well too, and was notably there to help Ness fight off Kirby. And Ness thinks that she's been stressed because she's been a bit silent since then, but when comparing their sanity level, she's actually less stressed than him. And if you know anything about Sheik or the Zelda series, in Ocarina of Time, it's revealed that Sheik is just another transformation of Zelda, solely meant to disguise and hide herself from Ganondorf and the darkness he brought upon the world for 7 years, up until Link is trained and old enough to defeat Ganon, which is why she doesn't really talk when she's Sheik. Also, during the Subspace Emissary events, Zelda turned into Sheik again to confront the threat to the world. Now, Villager is 100% fine, and is also said to be sheltering Ness and the others in his universe, and even used an axe to amputate Marth's hand to stop the virus from spreading through his body. Marth luckily is patched up and he's doing a little bit better. Unfortunately, he is a swordsman, so he does do close encounter fighting. Also, no matter how much of or what's in front of him, he's not backing down without a fight, which of course would eventually get him injured in general. Next, in Chapter 2, Part 1, we're shown that Ness and the others decided to go to Kirby's world to get some help on finding the hands and Kirby's whereabouts. And this is when we're given some key information about the infection. So first, it all starts when you are stung by the tentacles of an infected that will put you through 4 phases. In the first phase, the victim functions normally with no noticeable changes. After 24 hours, phase 2 begins. Their wounds start to sting, and their eyes begin to dull, and an uncontrollable smile forms on their face, making them look worried, scared, and 50% hungrier. And by phase 3, you might feel bad for Kirby, as not only are they hungrier than before, but their eyes begin to decay and disappear along with their insides, with them going completely blind and empty. Remnants of their personality still exist somewhat. Their voice becomes distorted, with their body forming tentacles to help spread the virus. And Phase 4 has no information, which is even scarier, but trust me, you'll see soon. They're not only 100% hungry in this phase, but also 100% aggressive. In the next part, Ness and Cap finally go to Dreamland, which is Kirby's home world. Upon arrival, they are told to go to the Green Greens forest, and before they go, they are told, "Don't worry, there is no one there, nor village, nor anywhere. The only thing with you is the violent guts, pulling your last taste of safety away. Stop holding on to the ground. His hunger is torturing him, and his appetite is growing him bigger. You really wish this was a bad dream, don't you?" And that's when it's revealed Ness found the huge corrupted nightmare in Dreamland. Take notice on how much bigger Kirby has gotten due to his hunger. It also makes you wonder, what exactly has he eaten so far? Meanwhile, Chrom and Lucina are traveling with the Ice Climbers, trying to get them back home to their universe safely after being attacked by an infected. And they're currently searching through the poisoned woods area of the World of Light, trying to look for a portal that could lead back to the Ice Climbers universe. And to their amaze, they did end up finding it, but something's off. When they jumped through the portal and look around, the Ice Climbers are gone. That's when out of nowhere Lucina would hear Chrom, who's her father, yell, "Look out!" And they're confronted by two creatures who were once known as the Ice Climbers. Then, before any battle could take place, Chrom shoves Lucina into a cave and blocks off the entrance with a huge ice boulder before she could even react. Lucina, scared, screams his name and tries to break out, but is left with no response and unsuccessful. She waited a couple minutes. That turned into hours, then days, and days, and days. Extremely hungry and dying, Lucina, with barely any energy in her tank, said if she's going to die, she might as well do it fighting. And so she begins to break out the cave, slashing the ice repeatedly, one by one, until eventually, instead of her sword breaking it, it was a hammer. After being let free, Lucina, without hesitation, runs in for a hug with thankful tears of joy. Then Chrom hugged his daughter even tighter and said, "It's all over now. We'll be okay. They can be cruel. They don't always unalive you right away. They would always wait for you to die, so they can feast on what remains." Sadly, Lucina died in that cave, and her breaking free and meeting her father again was them meeting in the afterlife. Her body never left that cave, and the infected Ice Climbers knew she was in there and waited for her to pass away so they can finally eat once again. Even though this isn't the only sad part of the story, at least it's good to know that the infected don't just have evil hearts, and they have some humanity at least. It makes you wonder if the real them is still present inside that infected body. Next in chapter 3, it's now day 7, and it's revealed that Ness and Cappy luckily escaped Kirby somehow and are now recovering back in Villager's homeworld. Dreamland also was destroyed, and it's now confirmed that King Dedede and Meta Knight are missing. Marth, on the other hand, has been relaxing as he's still weak from the blood loss from his arm being cut off. Villager has been noticeably very calm even when talking about infected Kirby. Now, some of you are probably thinking that he's pretty sus, but this is just the nature of a villager, because Animal Crossing characters mostly live in a pure-hearted, happy world, and deal with everything with a smile on the face at the end of the day. Ness also writes down that Sheik is worried about something and they ended up convincing her to stay when she was trying to venture off on her own. And it's possible she could be super worried about Link's safety right now during all of this, but then again, Ness is right that they should stay as a group together. Now, at the end of that day, Dr. Mario appears in this AU, and we're shown his log notes, where he basically explains that currently he is working with Rob to find a cure for this virus. If you couldn't tell by the name, Rob is basically short for robot, and the doctor is using him to interact with the infected, as of course he's immune. Which brings us to chapter 4, where we see more of Dr. Mario's logs for the past 8 days. Starting out on day 1, Dr. Mario was having trouble sleeping at night due to some mysterious hallucinations of Kirby and having a great feeling that something bad was going on. On day 2, he decided to venture to Dreamland to see if Kirby knew anything about these hallucinations, but ended up finding out what kind of monster he's become. And while hiding behind a bush in fear, he hears from Ness and the others that Mario is dead. And what catches my eye the most about this log is that he panics and says, "I might die since the original Mario doesn't exist anymore." Then in day 6 and 7, he meets Rob and they start doing their research on the cure. Now by day 8, a lot happens within the logs. We find out that Dr. Mario's new pills can hold off the infection for a couple hours, and that the more stings you have, the faster the infection spreads throughout your body. Now Olimar is his test patient, and he usually runs around with these small cute creatures called Pikmin. And all we know from him at the moment is that he was knocked out, and when he awoke, his Pikmin were gone, but it feels like they are still with him somewhere around close. We also know that Rob defended himself from that unknown creature as well in the forest, and judging off the blood on his hands, you can tell that the creature, or whatever it was, didn't stand a chance. Now unfortunately, after 9 hours, the pills worn off, clearly as Olimar began to mutate and become very aggressive, so Dr. Mario made Rob put him down. And from his corpse, they actually found out there were Pikmin inside of him, eating and devouring his insides. And after drawing Dr. Mario's blood, the doctor ended up revealing some very important info, which is that the rules of the game have changed since the Master Hand and Crazy Hand aren't available. Super Smash Bros. Might be a game about fighting, but notice how there's no blood present within the game. And because the hands are missing from the universe, the settings are basically messed up, so people from peaceful universes like Olimar's or Mario's actually develop blood. And still, nobody understands why or how this is happening. Good news is, by day 9, Mii Fighter and Mewtwo showed up at Dr. Mario's door to seek shelter, and they told him that they were being chased by an infected, so Mario put him in confinement and basically locked them off somewhere because he doesn't really trust them. We're then shown their character status, where their infection is basically unknown. And we find out that Pokemon Trainer and his Pokemon are infected, and we're only chasing Mewtwo, ignoring the Mii. In the next episode called Splatted with Red, we see Metal Gear Solid Snake running from the Inkling from the Splatoon series, and it's obviously infected and he's shooting it up. The funny thing about Snake is that he actually knows everything about every Super Smash Bros. Character, because there's a secret taunt that you're able to do in these Smash Bros. Games, and these Easter eggs basically show that Snake constantly has people in his ears feeding him information. And even though the Inklings look like squids, they aren't and will actually splat in the water, basically dying. But if only Snake knew what these infected creatures were able to do. Snake's death was a horrible one. Back in the lab, it's chapter 6 and it's day 10. Dr. Mario, who's continuing his research and also struggling with sleep, is approached by a beaten up Rob with an infected Pichu. And Dr. Mario asks him, is it dead? And since he only wants Rob to bring them in dead, it shows us that Dr. Mario doesn't want to take any chances, and also that he feels like no one else can find this cure. Of course, the Pichu was still alive, and it's as fast as lightning with its electric powers. It left instantly. And Mewtwo, sensing another Pokemon, teleported out of confinement. And while he's searching around for it, the little thing starts to creep up on him. And using its tentacles, it stabs into him, electrocuting him, sitting there in the dark, repeatedly poking holes into its corpse over and over again. Next episode, called Outside the Castle Walls, Luigi comes running into the Mushroom Castle with wounds and blood all over him. And he got these wounds when one night, Yoshi and Luigi were walking through the forest, and they start to hear a bell ringing, with someone talking to them through the shadows.
Have you ever wondered what those shadows are that you see out of the corner of your eyes? It's easy to confuse him for trees or dark spots, but planets don't whisper. They aren't alive. He isn't alive either. It's in fun how fast leaves and shadows turn for you to find him.
And that's when Mr. Game & Watch, who's clearly been infected for way longer than Phase 4, reveals himself. Fast forward, Luigi explains everything to Peach and Daisy. Yoshi didn't make it, and the princess drops an emergency broadcast warning everyone in the Mushroom Kingdom about the infection.
Greetings, inhabitants of the Mushroom Kingdom. Here's your princess to inform you of an imminent crisis nearby. Please remain calm and listen to the following instructions to keep you and your friends safe. There is a dangerous virus affecting certain inhabitants, specifically those who have invitations to Super Smash Bros. As far as we know, anyone who does not have an invitation is immune to the virus, but not to the attack of the infected. We do not know Mario's whereabouts, so we invite everyone to stay in the safety of their homes, and if you are in one of the following areas, please evacuate to a safer zone. You could be in danger. Western regions of the kingdom. Rainbow Curse. Mushroom Kingdom 2. Golden Plains. Grassy Planetoid. Mario Circuit. And New Donk City Hall. As your princess, I really hope everyone is safe during this times of crisis. We've been in worse situations before, so I ask everyone.
Luigi, Peach, and Daisy lost their lives that day during that broadcast to an infected piranha plant. Next episode starts off with Ness and Cap meeting Dr. Mario, with him saying, Doctor, I'm so glad you're okay, and I thought you were. And then Mario cuts him off saying, dead? I know Kirby killed the original me. Yeah, how do you know? Long story short, he died in front of your eyes. Next he asks Ness if he brought any food, and then Ness is like, no, and then he's like, Mamma mia. Meanwhile, Mewtwo is getting stabbed up completely and is fully infected through all stages by this point. And Dr. Mario goes to check up on his people that he has in confinement and notices that there's only the Mii fighter in there. Where's Mewtwo? So then he goes looking for Rob, who he finds instantly as he's thrown and completely scrapped in front of him. Right after this, Mewtwo starts to use his telekinesis powers to get into the Mii fighter's head and kills him. Ness was his next target, and fortunately, since everyone was there, they were able to knock Ness out of it and get him to safety. Unfortunately, after all of his efforts, Dr. Mario seemingly doesn't get a good fate, and the others escape. In the next episode, we're shown Pit and Palutena, and Pit, after watching Dr. Mario die through the mirror called the Sacred Treasure Mirror, the same mirror that he used back in Super Smash Bros. Brawl is being used again in this AU as well, and Palutena basically tells him that he needs to go down and help. She tells him all about the virus and that she can't protect him from it, and also tells him that he needs to go meet with Mega Man, who's basically immune to it. And as Pit is sent off, reality sinks in, and we find out that Palutena was infected the whole time, leaving him to finish the job she couldn't. In the next part, we're shown Ness's notes again, and it's day 10, and everyone is still in shock after what they just seen at Dr. Mario's laboratory. And Ness is going insane. Not only does he keep seeing the images of what he's seen that day, but also keeps asking himself, why is he still alive, and why did he get to live? Then we're taken back to Dr. Mario's lab, where he's laid out bleeding out on the floor, and out of nowhere, a mysterious brown-coated creature shows up to actually save Dr. Mario, and then it cuts off. Then we're shown that Dr. Mario was saved with only minor injuries done to his body and with 0 infection. As you can see, he's very hungry and very low in health, and he has to use a stick to walk, it said as well, but he's gonna be fine at least. This is all because of Banjo-Kazooie. He actually saved Mario somehow. Sheik is doing great. She's still doing the same. Not much has changed with her. She just seems more anxious. Again, probably because she wants to go check on Link. Marth is doing way better than before, seems more determined, and is also ready to fight again. Villager unironically is doing way worse than before and is now knowing how serious this infection is for some reason. Ness isn't doing good at all, he's having nightmares, he can't sleep, and doesn't really want to keep going with all of this, but is staying determined because he's doing it all for Dr. Mario. It's interesting because Ness really wouldn't act like this because he's technically dealt with way worse within his games. But anyways, make sure to subscribe and like this video to not miss out on the next part. God bless all of you people. Peace.